Imagine entering the stadium as the defending champs, full of confidence, only to be humiliated as you exit. Not by a famous person, but by an unexpected individual. When the Las Vegas Aces and Indiana Fever faced off, that is precisely what transpired. Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson were the center of attention, but Lexie Hull ended up being the main story. Yes, the star of the show was none other than Lexie Hull, the sharpshooting guard for the Fever. She embarrassed A'ja Wilson after one of the most spectacular outbursts the WNBA has witnessed this season, in addition to destroying the Aces with her shooting and hustling. Wilson, who is often calm and assertive, let her annoyance to get the better of her. She raged around the court, shouted at teammates, and complained to the officials. Then Lexie Hull struck the dagger, closing down defensively, making key shots, and ensuring that the Fever's victory would go down in history as the night Hull humbled Wilson. Social media exploded. Memes started to appear. Fans chuckled at Wilson's outburst. And all of a sudden, Lexie Hull was popular everywhere. We're dissecting it all tonight. How the hero turned out to be a so-called role player. The reasons behind Wilson's collapse under duress, and how this match might portend a significant change in the WNBA's power structure. This story has it all, so buckle up. Drama, power, and a national television personality being humiliated. The confrontations build up. The young Fever team was put to the test once again in their showdown against the Indiana Fever and Las Vegas Aces. The talented Aces were expected to demonstrate their championship heritage. The Fever, meanwhile, were still viewed as something of the future rather than the present. However, Indiana had a point to make. Caitlin Clark contributed her customary attention. A'ja in the paint, Boston was prepared for combat. Additionally, Lexie Hull, who is frequently disregarded, brought a calm assurance to the match. Lexie Hull's explosive beginning. From the first few minutes, Lexie Hull was noticeable. She startled the Aces by making back-to-back three-pointers early in the first quarter. She is known for her hustle and defense. The Vegas defense left her uncovered in the hopes that Boston or Clark would be the next in line for the Fever's attack. A huge error. Every opening they offered her was punished by Hull. The A's bench moved uneasily as Hull continued to make shots. What started off as a subdued role-playing performance quickly became a highlight reel. A Wilson's constructed. For A'ja Wilson, the evening started out with lost chances. Her typical shots rolled off the rim. She was surrounded in the suffering by the defense of Boston and Indiana. Every property had a grinding sensation. Wilson became so irate that he refused to calm down. After almost every play, she started pointing at the refs and calling for fouls that weren't called. Despite the efforts of her teammates to reassure her, her body language was clear. Following each whistle, there were mumbled words, eye rolls, and slumped shoulders. The time of the temper outburst. The collapse culminated in the middle of the second quarter. Wilson missed the layup after driving to the hoop and running into Boston. She thought that would be a foul call. No one showed up. The tantrum started at that point. Wilson yelled at the referee, stamped her feet, and flung her arms in the air. Every second was captured by cameras and aired to millions of people. The chance was not wasted by the sickness. She hit another three-pointer just in front of the A's bench after Clark kicked the ball to Hull after pushing it up court. The audience erupted. Hull spun around and gave a fiery cry while clapping her fists. And it was unbelievable to the fans. She had just publicly humiliated the Aces superstar. Wilson versus Hull, a symbolic fight. Despite not playing the same position, the night's main event was the clash between Wilson and Lexie Hull. Every time Wilson objected or became agitated, Hull appeared to come up with a brilliant move. Hull made sure the attention was on her at all times, whether it was with a timely shot, a steal, or a defensive stop. The fans instantly realized it. Lexie's chance. Lexie's voice echoed around the arena. Social media joked that she had Wilson on the ropes and nicknamed it the Hull Show. Wilson's annoyance, however, simply increased. Her jubilation were forced, even when she scored. The Fever's increase in momentum. Hull's performance went beyond her personal numbers. It changed the game's overall momentum. Her initial injections made it possible for Caitlin Clark to function. When Boston took control of the paint, The fever appeared to be unstoppable. Vegas, who is often composed and controlled, frantically sought clarification. Their annoyance was evident when their defensive rotations failed. The Fever had established a sizable advantage by halftime, and it was obvious that the Aces were shaken. Wilson's outburst had knocked the squad off balance, but Hull's valiant efforts had raised Indiana's profile. As the game progressed, social media exploded. It became a comedy show on social media. Fans added outrageous commentary, clown emojis, and dramatic music to videos of Wilson's outburst, which went viral. "A'ja Wilson out here acting like she's auditioning for a soap opera," one tweet said. Lexie Hull draws attention to overflowing timelines at the same moment. Fans dubbed her the season's surprising hero because of her passion, defense, and threes. Even supporters who were indifferent were watching to witness the mayhem. Overnight, TikToks featuring footage of Hull cheering while Wilson melted down amassed millions of views. Wilson's downfall completes the transaction. By the fourth quarter, the Aces were losing the game. Despite Wilson's best efforts, her squad felt desperate. Her choice of shots worsened. She became even more irate with the officials, and her teammates stopped passing the ball to her since they could see how irritated she was. Hull made another clutch three in the meanwhile, energizing the heated crowd. Wilson was sitting on the bench with a towel over her head when the camera panned to her. The picture conveyed the narrative. It had humiliated her. Post-match responses. The press conferences following the game were every bit as emotional as the actual match. Wilson acknowledged that she was frustrated, but she continued to point the finger at the officials, claiming that she wasn't receiving fair calls. Fans accused her of making excuses in the comments, which led to even more online outrage. Hull, on the other hand, remained elegant. "They trusted me and I just wanted to deliver," she said, giving thanks to her colleagues. Her modesty just served to highlight the two athletes' differences. The WNBA's implications of this. This game's effects went much beyond the scoreboard. Wilson's outburst caused the Aces to seriously consider their leadership and poise. If their star couldn't manage her emotions for the Fever, would the reigning champions be able to survive? Their depth was demonstrated by Hull's performance. It's not only Boston and Clark. Role actors in Indiana are prepared to take the stage when the time comes. That concludes the tale. A night filled with surprising heroes, drama, and dominance. One of the league's biggest players, A'ja Wilson, had a breakdown that will be remembered for years to come. However, her outburst wasn't the true story. The WNBA was turned upside down when the sharpshooter, Lexie Hull, took over, humiliated the Aces, and handed the Fever a victory. It wasn't meant to go this way, but that's what makes sports so amazing. The finest chapters are written by the unsung heroes. We'd like to hear from you now. The right-hand index is pointing. Do you believe that the Fever season changed course because of Lexie Hull's performance? The right-hand index is pointing. Was Wilson's outburst the most amusing outburst we've witnessed this year? To ensure you don't miss the most outrageous, dramatic, and viral sports events, leave your opinions in the comment section below and remember to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell.